Good day, learners. It's been a while. I am here again to present this lesson on the effects of electromagnetic radiation. In the event that you had power interruption in your respective area, you can always go back to my YouTube channel and you can play or you can download so that you would be able to review the video any time of the day at your most convenient time. Okay. Let me start with this quote by Stephen Magee. Radiation is essential for life. For our content standards, we are going to expect that you are going to demonstrate an understanding of the different regions of electromagnetic spectrum. For the performance standards, we have none. And our most essential learning competencies is you are going to explain the effects of electromagnetic radiation on living things and the environment. Let me remind everyone that we are still in the new normal. We are really in the new normal. If we stay at home, we are going to disinfect all the surfaces that we have. We are going to wash our hands with soap and water all the time. And when we go out, we are going to observe social distancing, which is about 2 meters away. Wear a mask and bring your alcohol so that you would be able to sanitize your hands. In this manner, even though we are at home or outside, we stay connected and we have to really be appreciative of these practices that the IATF has set for us, because if we are going to observe everything, we are going to be okay. Okay, let's have a short review. And that is activity number 1, page 2 of your module. You are going to read the statements carefully and try to figure out if the statements are true or false. If the statement is true, you are going to write T, and if the statement is false, change the underlined word. Okay, number 1. Infrared are used in the TV remote controls. The underlined word is infrared. Well, the answer is letter T. It's true. Number 2. Microwave can cook food. The underlined word is microwave. Yes, the answer is T. That's for true. Okay, next number. Number 3. Speed gun uses X-ray to calculate speed of moving vehicles. Okay, the answer is letter T. It's true. Okay, next number. Number 4, you have cell phones uses infrared to communicate. The underlined word there is infrared. What do you think is the answer? Yeah, definitely it's false. And you are going to change the word to radio wave. And lastly, we have forged bank money can be detected through UV light. The underlined word is UV. Okay, that's correct. That's true. Very good. So we are now ready to understand the different concepts before we are going to start with our activity. We are going to define 3 terminologies. You have radiation, ionizing, and non-ionizing. When we talk of radiation, this is the propagation of energy through matter. And when we talk of ionizing, this is the process where there is a production of ion pairs by electrons or the removal of electrons. If you remember from your lessons in chemistry about ionization energy in the periodic table of elements, you would notice that if we look at the structure of the atom, the protons and the neutrons are confined inside the nucleus of the atom, and these electrons are the ones occupying the shells of the atom. So these electrons are the ones getting involved with chemical reaction, and they need a higher energy for each electron or one electron to be elevated to the next level or even share their electrons to another element to become stable. Okay, for non-ionizing, we have waves that has enough energy or does not have enough energy to cause ionization. Okay, I think I made myself clear. So if we're going to define ionizing radiation, this has something to do with the enough energy to cause ionization. Thus, if you need high energy, so therefore you need something that radiates or it emits in quantas or in other stuff. So this can cause harm to our body and our environment, in the sense that if we have much of it, to the extent it will apparently harm our body. So we should think about it, because a lot of us, most of the time, we are exposed to these waves, or we are exposed to any of the spectra in the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, let's look at electromagnetic radiation, because we are dealing with the effects of electromagnetic radiation, or EM radiation, or EMR. EMR refers to the waves or their quanta or photons of the electromagnetic field propagating or radiating through space, carrying electromagnetic radiant energy. It includes radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet rays, X-rays, and gamma rays. Okay, in order to understand more of it, we are going to perform a short experiment, but I will just give a short video of the activities that you have made. You were then asked to prepare a lotion with an SPF factor. May it be 118, 20, 50, but it's a lotion. Okay, that has an SPF factor, an SP factor rather. So, you were then asked to prepare a Ziploc with 3 divisions using your mark pen or your permanent pen. And you have the newspaper, then you have a construction paper. And all of these were followed using the procedure, making 3 divisions, inserting the newspaper inside the Ziploc, and apply a little of the lotion that you have with an SP factor. In my case, I use SP factor 118. And the black construction paper will be put in between the 3 divisions so that you would be able to observe what will happen. Okay? Let's reveal our questions, the results of our investigation. Question number 1. How does the newsprint vary in the 3 divisions of the newspaper? Your answer should be the newsprint in the fully exposed part of the newspaper faded dramatically than the other parts. What does it indicate? It indicates that the sunlight, specifically UV rays, affect the pigments of the different objects. How does this realization impact your personal life? I realized that I need to protect our skin from the UV rays by using protective clothes and lotion, or lotion that can block the sunlight. Okay, so you see, looking at the different spectra or different wave in the electromagnetic radiation, as what we have discussed in Module 3, they have different frequencies and different energy levels. So we are going to look on the effects of these different waves in the electromagnetic spectrum. So let's start with radio wave. People can be exposed to radio frequency radiation from both natural and man-made sources. Natural sources include the sun and outer space. The sky, including the lightning strikes, are examples of the natural sources of radio waves. But for man-made, we include broadcasting radio and TV signals, cell phone towers, and cell phones. We have the Bluetooth and the radar. What are the effects of having long or prolonged uses of these radio waves? If it is absorbed by our body in large amounts, it can damage our DNA or our genes, which can sometimes result in cancer. Okay, next to radio wave is microwave. Microwave radiation can hit the body tissue the same way it hits food. So, the effects of microwaves is that it can cause a painful burn. And two areas of the body, the eyes and the testes, are particularly vulnerable with this RF hurting because they are relatively little blood flow in them to carry excess heat. So additionally, the lens of the eye is particularly sensitive to intense heat, and exposure to high level of intense heat can cause cataracts. Next to microwave, you have infrared. So infrared radiation is invisible to the human eye, starting from 780 nanometers. That 780 nanometers is the last wavelength that a human eyes can see. So people sometimes call the infrared radiation as heat radiation. Instead, because a person can sense certain wavelength of it on their skin as warmth. What are the effects? When you are exposed to high amount of infrared radiation, it mostly involves thermal skin on eyes and the skin. So that's why we are not allowed to focus the remote controls and laser pointers directly to our eyes. Okay, now you've got several discoveries that we normally do, and at times we play with the laser pointers and we try to point at the eyes of other people. So at least you know that it can cause something, it can cause harm to our body. You are not going to do it. Okay. Let's move to the next. We have visible light. The visible light radiation can exert various biological effects such as erythema, pigmentation, thermal damage, and free radical production. Sunscreen and sunblock lotion are the mainstay treatment against visible light problem. What is the effect of too much of the visible light? It will damage the retina of our eyes. This can happen when you look at something very bright, such as the sun. So if you notice, if you are a driver driving at night and somebody will apparently use the bright light in their vehicle, you notice that you turn to be blind after exposing yourself to bright lights. Okay, that is visible light. So you have to be cautious of everything. Next to visible light is ultraviolet. UV rays, either from the sun or from the artificial sources like tanning beds, can cause sunburn. So exposure to UV rays can cause premature aging of skin and signs of sun damage, such as wrinkles, leathery skin, liver spot, and it can also cause eye problems. They can cause the cornea to become inflamed or burned. That can lead to cataract formation. And that is what answers to our activity that we have performed. So you have to really look into consideration the things that you're going to do so that you are not going to burn your skin under the heat of the sun or the UV rays of the sun. Okay, next to UV rays is X-ray. X-rays are a form of electromagnetic radiation that can penetrate or pass through the human body and produce shadow-like images of bones and some organs. So, if we happen to had a fall, then one of our arms had broken, we suspect that it's broken because of the fall that we had. We normally do X-rays so that we can be provided with the correct imagery of the part of our body which is broken. And at the same time, if we think that we are being stricken by other diseases that doctors cannot see by our naked eye, or you yourself cannot see, we do MRI scans and other types of X-rays. Okay? So what are the effects? This can cause mutation, especially for pregnant women. So that's why if you are pregnant, you are not allowed to do X-rays because this might have a cut or this might mutate your genes or the genes of your fetus in the womb of the mom or in the uterus. Okay? So, these are apparently X-rays are apparently classified as carcinogens by the World Health Organization and the US government. So a higher absorbed dose of X-ray radiation means a higher risk for adverse effects, including skin redness, infertility, cataracts, and hair loss. Okay, we're almost up to the end. And we are now on gamma rays. Gamma rays have the smallest wavelength and carry the highest amount of energy and can penetrate in all matters that change the DNA. They are produced by the hottest and most energetic objects in the universe, such as neutron stars. On the Earth, gamma waves are generated by nuclear explosion and lightning. So if you remember in the history, you have this Chernobyl plant in Russia. So until now, they are suffering the adverse effects of the gamma rays because there was an explosion in the nuclear plant that they have made in Chernobyl. And once and for all, if you're going to view documentaries, you would be able to see that there are several people there. After a series of exposures, they died immediately. And some babies were born with cut arms and other things that had happened. Okay, so until now, the Chernobyl plant is still at its highest risk or dangers. Okay, what are the effects? This can cause human carcinogens, cancer-causing agents. They can cause also mutation in the growing tissues, so unborn babies are very vulnerable. That's why I have made mention of the Chernobyl plant, because a lot are being exposed there, and some babies were born with cut limbs, cut arms, so those stuff. Okay, so that's it. Let's proceed to activity number 3, and we are going to complete the table with the correct information. On the first column, that speaks about the risk in our health. The second column, you are going to answer it with a yes or no. And column number 3, what are the main risks? So that means you're going to point out, will it cause damage to our DNA, or it can cause mutation in the tissues that we have, the cell tissues that we have. What are the common sources? Just like radon gas, cosmic rays, and other things that we have or that we come in contact with. What devices do we use that pertains to that certain source that we have? And lastly, what are the effects to human bodies, so that we would be able to look into our most learning essential competencies, or the most essential learning competencies. Okay, let's do it. Let's reveal the answers to the table. Okay, so if you answer number 1 yes, definitely you are correct. What are the common sources for radio waves? You have sun, cell phone, towers. Okay, then you have the effects to human body that can lead to cancer. Okay, for number 4, ultraviolet ray has a negative effect on your skin. Yes, because it can damage the DNA in the body. And what are the devices that we use? You have the UV lamp, or the arc welding. Then number 6, what about the X-ray? It can cause DNA mutation. What are the effects in our body? You have vomiting, bleeding, fainting, and hair loss. Number 8, gamma ray can damage our body tissues. Yes, of course. Number 9, what are the common sources? You have nuclear explosion and lightning. Yeah, we're doing it well. And what about infrared can damage eyes to our eyes and skin? Okay. The main risk is it can hit the body tissue and cause painful burn in our skin. Then what devices are being used? Still, you have arc welding, the sun, and our incandescent lamp. So that's why we are being advised. I think in the 1980s, they were able to find out about the study on incandescent lamp. They had invented this fluorescent lamp so that you will have lesser exposure, or the energy that the incandescent lamp is radiating, and you are going to have a lower risk on the effects of the infrared. Okay, we're almost there. We are going to look at the different illustration and identify the effects of EM wave radiation. Let's see if you understood the lesson really. Okay, so the different words that you are going to choose are radio wave, ultraviolet ray, X-ray, gamma ray, microwave, visible light, infrared. Okay, let's look at this first picture of a baby in the hospital. What do you notice? Okay, which of the following EM wave should be the cause for the baby's loss of arm? Okay, you got it right. It's X-ray. Very good. Okay, number 2. What about number 2? You can see a cancer cell, right? What would be the cause, or it's the effect of a gamma ray? Well, you're doing it well. Next, what about the man on the third picture, looking at the back of this man, at his back? What should be the answer? Okay, this is an effect to infrared. Okay, very good. Next, what about this man holding a phone on his ear? Okay, that is radio wave. And what about the last picture? A man showing his back with leathery skin, cracked skin on his shoulder. Okay, so definitely that is ultraviolet ray. Okay. So to summarize our lesson, in the classical physics, electromagnetic radiation is the flow of energy at the universal speed of light through free space, or through a material medium in the form of the electric and magnetic fields that make up the electromagnetic waves, such as radio waves, visible light, gamma rays, ultraviolet rays, and etc. In such a wave, time-varying electric and magnetic fields are mutually linked with each other at right angles and are perpendicular to the direction of the motion. An electromagnetic wave is characterized by its intensity. So therefore, the more you're going to be exposed with this electromagnetic wave, the more radiation or the more harm it will bring into your body and in the environment. Okay, so that's it. Let's go to our assessment. We're almost done. Okay, let's be patient, because patience is a virtue. Okay, you are going to write the letters, or you are going to encircle the letter that corresponds to your answer in your module. Question number 1. Which of the following organs below would likely be affected if you are directly at something very bright, such as the sun? A. Your skin. B. Your eyes. C. Your heart. D. Your lungs. Okay, the answer is letter B. Well done. Next, number 2. Which rays enables us to see? A. Microwave. B. Infrared. C. UV. D. Visible light. Definitely you are correct. The answer is letter D. Visible light enables us to see. Next, number 3. Which material can be used to protect people from gamma rays? A. Lotion, or the UV lotion. B. Soap. C. Alcohol. D. Perfume. Yes, perfect. The answer is letter A. You can use friendly lotion or friendly UV lotion. Next, we're almost done. Question number 4. Which type of ray can be felt as warmth? A. microwave, B. infrared, C. ultraviolet, D. visible light. Yes, you are right. It's letter B, infrared. Okay, next. Last number. Question number 5. How can UV rays cause skin cancer? A. Too much exposure to UV radiation from the sun can damage the genetic material in your skin cell. B. Too low exposure to UV radiation from the sun can damage the genetic material in your skin cell. C. Exposure to UV rays will hinder the absorption of vitamin D, which can damage your skin cell. D. UV rays can cause mutation of skin cells that results in abnormal growth of skin allergies. What's the answer? Okay, the answer is letter A. Too much exposure to UV radiation from the sun can damage the genetic material in your skin cell. So that is so relatable with our objective in our activity to screen the UV out. So you are not allowed to have too much exposure to UV radiation. So think about it, because it's summertime and the Philippines is a tropical country, so you have always to protect your skin from the harmful rays of the sun. Okay, for our additional resources, you can always go to Google, or you can Google it and just type effects of electromagnetic radiation, and many searches will run after you have typed it. So for our assignment, for our next meeting, you are going to answer 3 questions. You have question number 1, what does a radio transmitter do? Number 2, how can infrared radiation be detected if cannot be seen? Question number 3, we have, why are high-frequency electromagnetic waves like gamma rays harmful to living things? And that will be submitted when we get to meet online for our monitoring. And let me just remind you, you can always do the Google search. Google has a wide range of searches, so that's why we always say, you Google it, okay? So for the additional resources, you have the different URLs posted on the video. So, thank you for joining today's class. And I'm so glad that we are still connected even though we don't meet face to face. So we always have to remember that we should keep going. Even if we are having these struggles because of connectivity and other stuff, we don't have financially, we don't have money to load every now and then. So at least we could still review the video if we think that we were not able to understand the lesson, and go over the video anytime at your convenience. So hopefully we will be able to return to normalcy so that we will always be connected and you can see me personally. So always remember that technology will never replace great teachers, but technology in the hands of a great teacher can be transformational. So that's why we are doing this. We are delivering the lesson through this video lesson. So with that, on behalf of the Department of Education and the Zamboanga National High School West, I am Maria Vicenta Galvez Evangelista for this video lesson to guide you in your module. So take a break and see you on the next video. Bye-bye! And don't forget, if you have any questions, please message me directly or message me in our GC, in our respective GCs, and in our FB page. You can comment, or even in my YouTube channel, you can post or comment anything on it. Okay, so God bless, and hope you're going to enjoy the next video lessons that I am going to do. Bye-bye, good luck, and God bless. Okay.